Welcome back, children. So today we will do the second part of chapter 8, that is cell structure and functions. Now children, the human naked eye cannot see objects which are less than 1/10 of a millimeter. So to observe cell by our naked eye is next to impossible. For that reason, we require a microscope. With the help of a microscope, we can see the inner structure of a cell. Now, to observe a cell under a microscope, firstly, we have to cut a very thin section from a part of a plant, which it may be stem, it may be root, it may be leaf. After that, it is kept on a glass slide, then a drop of water is added to it, then it is covered by another cover slip of glass, and then it is kept under microscope for observation. Now, in order to see the inner content of a cell clearly, some other techniques are involved. For example, the most common technique involved is staining of cell. Staining means coloring. Certain stains like saffronin, eosin, methylene blue, etc. is added, whereby various regions absorb these stains and they become visible clearly. They become more and more prominent. Now, why it is done? Because if you see a cell under a microscope without staining, cell is primarily colorless. So you will not be able to differentiate the various parts which are present in a cell. For this reason, this staining method of cells are used. Now, after a stained cell is observed under a microscope, first thing we see is the cell membrane, and inside the cell membrane we see cytoplasm, and then within the cytoplasm we see the nucleus. Now, this cell membrane is semi-permeable in nature. It is present in all types of cells, whether living, plant cell or animal cell. So, this cell membrane helps to give protection to the inner content of the cell. Also, it helps in movement of molecules inside and outside the cell in a selective way. That is why the cell membrane is also called as selectively permeable membrane. Now, within the cell, a jelly-like substance is present which is called as the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is the region within the cell where all sorts of chemical reactions, means biochemical reactions, occur. It also helps to give shelter to various other small organelles which remain in the cytoplasm. Apart from this, nucleus is there which is very prominent. Now, to see the nucleus clearly, normal microscope will not do. For that you require a more advanced microscope, which is called as electron microscope, which has the ability to magnify object up to 5 lakh times. So you can understand, if the cell is so small, what will be the size of the nucleus? And when that nucleus is enlarged to as large as 5 lakh times, so that each and every part of the nucleus becomes visible. Now, one more thing very importantly I would like to say here is regarding prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Eukaryotes are those organisms which have a true nucleus, means has a true nucleus covered by a nuclear membrane, whereas prokaryotes are those they do not have a nuclear membrane covering the nucleus. So, the nuclear material is called nucleoid, right? And it is found in bacteria and blue-green algae. Clear, children? So those organisms which do not have a nuclear membrane covering the nucleus, they are called as prokaryotes, and such type of a nuclear material is called as nucleoid, and it is found in bacteria and blue-green algae. All other organisms except these two, they come under eukaryote. Okay, children? So now we will come to the nucleus. So I told you about cell membrane, I told you about cytoplasm, and then we will do nucleus. The nucleus is the brain of the cell. All activities of the cell are performed by the nucleus. So, a cell cannot do any work without the help of nucleus. This nucleus governs all the activities of the cell. In order to serve the purpose, nucleus has a separate entity. Nucleus is covered by a nuclear membrane. Within the nucleus, there are other parts which has to be dealt clearly and extensively. For that reason, we will at first do the diagram of nucleus, which you should copy in your notebooks. So, in our next class, we will start nucleus first by drawing the diagram of nucleus. Thank you.